Red Death. 600 years ago, King Arthur led the Great Escape from the homelands, where our kingdoms were ravaged by the plague. Leading people to Avalon, he started the Age of Conquest and took the island from the Four Dwellers. Using the mysterious powers of Menhirs, together with Merlin, they cleansed the land of the weirdness, a primordial force of chaos and possibility. But now, long after the death of the king, Camelot is in shambles as Avalon fractures into chaos. Old legends are gone, and the weirdness is creeping back into our lands. The bleeding heart of the plague has started beating once more. And the Red Death has returned. Rulers of the island asylum, an order of the Red Priests, are desperate to stop it by any means necessary. Rotting in one of their cells is a stranger who might bring a spark of change to this cursed island stuck in everlasting autumn.
Alright everybody, welcome. Today we're starting the early access of Tainted Grail, Fall of Avalon. Here in the beginning we're going to skim through some of the game settings you can choose from. You can see my settings. I'm running on a 2060 GPU, so it's a little outdated, but it does what I need it to do. One day maybe I'll upgrade it, maybe I won't, we'll see, time will tell. Alright, so keep in mind this is early access, don't want to put them down. This is the character creation. You have your basic presets, male, female, long hair, short hair, beards, no beards. We also have the genders, males, females, the facial preset faces, and the hair colors. You have a couple different hairstyles you can pick from here. And pretty cool, nothing overly complex. I've seen some games where you can change the cheek width and depth and the nose and the eye colors and the eye size with the ears. And then obviously you name your character.
Rise and shine, rise and shine. Yes, it's me again. And I hope this time you'll cooperate without me needing to repeatedly hit you in the face, eh? Look, we just have to get this over and done with. Unless you want a visit from someone upstairs. And trust me, you don't. Just like before, no food until we're done here. And the moment you start getting on my nerves, we're going back to my tried and tested fists. So, tell me, what were you doing in the forest when the Red Shields caught you?
So you have a couple options here. I'd be curious to play through this a couple times to see if those options have different outcomes, or if it's just a way to interact in the dialogue.
As they say upstairs,
again, no idea if it makes a difference.
And you're, what, hunting just to get by? Or do you do something with your catch? And yet you look like a beggar. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. We must have taken all you had when you came here. Okay.
So looking at the stats that I got, your options in the dialogue might actually influence the starting traits that you get and the levels of those traits. I don't know. We'll see.
I always found it puzzling that these people won't bathe. You, I understand, you're literally rotting in this damned cell, but them...
So if you've made it this far in the video, one, thank you. Secondly, I know you're going to say it. I'm thinking it. Looks and feels like Skyrim. It's got the crawl, it's got the sneak, it's got the graphics kind of. It's not a bad thing. I just hopefully the developers of this can keep moving forward with it and get it out from underneath Skyrim's shadow. Skyrim was a phenomenal game. I'd like to see something to compete with it. Maybe this is it. Who knows? Only time will tell. Alright, so earlier I picked up that pail. You can pretty much pick up anything. Again, Skyrim vibes. I'm probably going to say that a lot. No disrespect to Tainted Grail, but it's just a starting point. I got a pail and a key. got out, I took this guard's armor. I look like one of them now. Here in the bag you have your consumables. I'm not sure what that consumable was. You have your loadouts that you can quickly change to. I just put my club in each one of them because why not? You have your quest log. Mine is simply now is to escape, which seems our little strange friend helped us out. And then you have your basic attributes. Once you break out of the cell, you get the list of the controls: basic attack, light attack, heavy attack, block, hide weapon, so on and so forth. You can also enter every single one of these cells. Some require lock picking, some require a key. One thing to note is you get a complimentary 7th Commandments book upon being locked up. So, I don't know, at least you have some reading material. So as I walked up to this table, I immediately noticed the arrow in the eye, which we'll get back to, but the title of this, The Beautiful Liliana in the Chamber of Ecstasy. I bet there's going to be some raunchy material in this game that you can read. Keep an eye out for that. As I started looting everything off of this guy and everything off the table, I start to wonder, I don't know if there's an inventory cap. They might have just made this might be a temporary thing because it's in early access. They're still developing it. They want to give you the opportunity to, I don't know, pick everything up. Yeah, I don't think there's a weight limit yet. After leaving that little corner, I went down the hallway and found some more cells that were locked. The locking system, it's not bad. I don't mind it. You use your mouse to rotate the pick, and then you hold down the space bar to start turning the lock. It's really easy to break the locks since you use the space bar to try and force it. At the beginning of this, I thought maybe your character's locked up in a jail cell for something. I don't know. Nefarious. However, it looks like after going through these cells and looking at some of the documents and skimming through them, they were actually doing research on these people. There's some plague or disease, and maybe they're trying to amplify it, maybe they're trying to cure it, and just seeing what their experiments do to the people. So back on the guard that had the arrow in the eye, we had a key on them. That key opened up this door. In this room, it's basically their storage. Some meats that I'll probably use later, an old letter, some lock picks, and a bunch of stuff hanging on the wall is likely materials for crafting, alchemy, something. Make sure you pick all of this stuff up. Some of it blends in with the background. Again, this is a very dark game, at least so far, so some things are kind of hard to recognize. So earlier I mentioned I wasn't sure if there was a cap on inventory, if there was a weight limit. Looking at here, I don't know. That looks like a significant amount of things. Actually, no, it's in the top right corner. 44 of 100. So there is a inventory cap. It's just pretty large starting out. And it's pretty convenient. In this room here, you figure out what you're dealing with. Apparently there's some sort of disease or virus called the Red Death. This surgeon received 3 patients suffering with mild symptoms, and they decided to test new treatments derived from the creatures touched by the weirdness to see how they react. After you leave the rooms learning about the Red Death and the experiments, you come across a door with a note to a Brother Sefton on a locked laboratory door. Thankfully, right down the hallway is another corpse, and it just so happens to have the key that we need to get inside. So I'll run back, run down, grab the key, run back to the door. And And finally, our first encounter with the Red Priest. Would have liked to ask him questions if that was possible, but he didn't seem to be in the talking mood after I smashed him on the back of the head. Totally understandable. Once we took care of the priest, we stripped him down, took his coin, and then checked out the creepy looking bodies in the tanks. We read some of the records on the tables, found out who they were keeping and experimenting on, and was thankful that we ended up in a cell and not a tube. We scanned the room and grabbed a bunch of the supplies that's on the cabinets and the counters. There's some health potions in the middle of the room next to the dissection table. I don't know what you'd call it. So make sure you grab all that stuff. There's a alchemy station in the corner if you know how to make potions. You can experiment with that with some of your ingredients. And then also in the far back corner there is a glowing blue sheet on the table. That is to summon a spell to summon a spectral sword. Make sure you grab that too. In the back of the room is going to be a hole in the wall, a little tunnel. Make sure you go through that. It's by an empty cabinet. On the ground you'll see some mushrooms or something along those sorts. As what they call it, sheep's head. As you come out the other side, if you picked up the spectral sword and summon it, this is your chance. You get to use it against 2 enemies. You also get to practice some of your blocks and the parries. Alt is like a dash button. You dash backwards, or I guess you actually dash any direction that you're moving. It uses like a quarter of your stamina though, so keep that in mind when you're using it. Once I took care of the red guards, I quickly looted their bodies, stripped them down to nothing. I'm in the mindset that eventually I'll get out of here and I'll be able to sell this stuff. Maybe. Alright, we're going to wrap this video up here. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to keep these short just to make them more digestible. I'll be creating another one, and hope you like, subscribe, comment. Thank you.